The Philippines, a nation of over 7,000 islands, known for their fantastic beaches, friendly locals, and colonial past. But definitely not their food. While neighboring Asian countries enjoy popularity overseas, Filipino dishes either go unknown or are treated with suspicion. In this special Road Less Traveled series, I'm going to explore the world's most underappreciated cuisine and find out if that unpopularity is justified. It's a mission that is going to lead me across Luzon's diverse landscape. From stunning rice terraces, to remote tribal villages, to outlandish burial grounds. All on a quest to find that next great Filipino dish, with some hits and misses in between. Along the way, I'll venture thriving markets, muck up work routines, and learn jungle commando cooking. But I must heed caution. Don't push too deep or look too far.
Marijuana field? What marijuana field?
It is a cuisine adventure extraordinaire. Starting right here in the gritty, sultry, traffic-choked capital city, Manila. Our world is full of fascinating dishes, culturally important, rich in stories. But only a few have seen the limelight. I'm Jonathan Legg, and in this series, I'm focusing my travels around the world's most underappreciated cuisines.
Oh my God.
Have they failed to market? Are they about to emerge? Or are they just plain bad? It will be a global journey of pleasant surprises, dangerous mishaps, and stunning locations. On a quest to uncover food unknown. To get a grip on a country's food, you must first start with its produce, meat and fish. It's the foundation. And if there's a problem with the cuisine, the first thing to check is the quality of the ingredients. I make my way to Cubao's Farmers Market for a ground-up inspection. Bustling, pungent, and colorful, with a little dollop of heebie-jeebie. 3 quick tips for a market like this. You want to have small change? Ew. You want to wear shoes that don't soak up all the fish juice on the floor. And you want to be able to identify fresh fish from stuff that's been on ice for several days. Should smell like the ocean or the river, not fishy. Should have bright, clear eyes looking out at you. And when you peel back the gills, it should be bright red or pink inside. Anything else, throw it back. The market is a great place to score fresh seafood or simply hunt curiosities. I've seen morays in the water before, snorkeling and scuba diving, but I never got a close-up of the teeth. You can see they're curved inwards so that the prey can't escape, and neither would your finger. It was cooperative effort to bite my own finger. Looks like a sci-fi movie, holy cannoli. Woo. And past that, a bright neighborhood of produce. And right there is the dampa. Anything you buy anywhere here, you could take over there, cook it up, and eat it fresh. The market boasts a veritable bounty of fresh seafood, meat, and vegetables. If there's an issue with the food, it's definitely not due to lack of ingredients. On the way home, I make one pit stop. I must try the country's most infamous delicacy. Like ripping off a Band-Aid fast, I want to get it out of the way early. And this must be balut.
Luto.
Luto. I don't even know what it
Open.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Delicious. I've had a lot of fear factor type foods in my life. Tarantula, cobra hearts, water beetles, worms. It's a 2-week-old fetal duck egg consumed raw or boiled. I got mine boiled because I'm not ready for salmonella right out of the gate.
I can taste little feathers. It's not so bad. I mean, it kind of tastes like an egg mixed with feathers. Oh God, I'm not going. There, I did it.
Yeah.
Strong like muskox. Technically, it's not that bad, but I had the experience. I'm done.
One more.
No, thank you.
Body by balut. Balut fortified, I make my way through the frenetic city. Buzzing, pulsing, grinding, as the sunlight fades and different markets spring to life. Like this one, right in the trendy heart of Manila.
I'm here in the neighborhood of Makati at a bustling food market with a high concentration of foreigners and a wide variety of Filipino cuisine. I should be able to put my finger on the pulse and get an idea of popular opinion. So what do you think about the food here?
I think the chicken is the best chicken in the world. It's got all different flavors and the most
Yeah.
beautiful spices.
Biting their tongue? My meat lover passion doesn't play well for everyone.
You been here 2 days?
Yeah, been here.
Try
2
the
days.
food?
Tried it.
You ate a lot of animals.
The vegetarian in me was a little shocked.
Yeah.
This little market has pulled in quite the international clientele.
So 2 Ukrainians in the Philippines.
Yeah,
You tried the food?
yeah. It's not the first time when we are buying food here. It's because it's really cheap here, and some quality is not bad.
It's like street food. And
Yeah.
Come to the Philippines. The food is cheap and not bad. Can I try a little piece?
Oh yeah. Wow.
You hear that crunch? It's like a potato chip. Super crispy on the outside, really moist and juicy on the inside. Wow. If you're looking for a nice meaty meal, you can't do better than Lechon. You get an all Schwarzenegger amount of protein from a skinny man's wallet.
Next to the stage, and before a Pinoy cornucopia, I find lifestyle blogger Cheryl Tew, who drops a professional opinion on the matter.
If the Queen of England one morning woke up and said, I would like to try Filipino food, what would you choose?
I would choose lechon, definitely, because it's suckling pig, and it's really popular and it's really safe.
All right, now I've got something. The lechon is a big seller at the market. I liked it. Famous food blogger Cheryl Tew likes it. Perhaps I now have my first overlooked winner in the Philippine cuisine quiver, ready to take the international stage. To get to the bottom of this alleged ambassador quality dish, I reserve lunch at Pepita's kitchen. Owner Dedette, aka the Lechon Diva, serves 12-course meals in her home, highlighted by her trademark specialty, Lechon.
Wow, that aroma just blasts out.
Lechon is a traditionally Filipino fiesta food, meaning it's not a party without a lechon. Proud to let you know that this lechon won last year in London, the tastiest dish in Asia by Chowster.
So this is the Mac Daddy of the Mac Daddy.
Yes.
Wow, that's so succulent. And your truffle rice gives it such a unique nuance. I've never had pork that tastes like that before.
And with the experience done, I mosey out of Pepita's kitchen, an extremely satiated man.
Plus, I got to taste the #1 food in Asia. Check that box.
Dedet's Lechon was indeed fantastic. But could it be the next doner kebab, sweeping Europe's currywurst, pizza, and tapa joints away in the wake of its popularity? Tough sell. You can't make a veggie lechon, alienating that whole market. Orthodox Jews and Muslims are out, and although I felt like a king at banquet, not everyone is going to enjoy the sight of rice spilling out of a baby pig. And lechon is also the national dish of Puerto Rico, and found everywhere Spain had a colonial presence. So it can't be a unique Filipino claim to fame. To get a fresh, cosmopolitan perspective on the issue, I head to Vasque, in Manila's hip Fort Bonifacio neighborhood. Here, Spanish chef Chile creates infusion-style dishes with local ingredients. I linger after closing time to get Chile's perspective on Filipino cuisine.
But you're from Spain originally,
I'm from Spain.
which has a global reputation for good cuisine. But you came to the Philippines, which is not known for cuisine at all. Why did you do that?
Well, I needed a break. I used to work in some of the top restaurants in the world. That means a lot of pressure, a lot of tension, a lot of not social life. And it was a time that I love what I do, but I need time for myself.
Have you had a couple dishes in the Philippines, local dishes traveling around, that have made you say, sweet Lord, that was great?
Of course. But you know where?
Where?
In the house of the farmers. You know, the people who cultivate the ingredient, they are the best ones who understand the ingredient, and they are the best ones who give the best treatment.
Well, Chele, you speak so passionately about Filipino cuisine, but your enthusiasm is really not reflected across the globe. Most people don't think twice about going out to eat Filipino. It doesn't even cross their mind. Why is that?
Well, I think things have to evolution all the time, and things have to grow up. I think it has been isolated, the economy, everything, but now it's changing.
So we are on the cusp of a great Filipino cuisine
Starting.
revolution.
Yes, I believe so.
Here's to the great Filipino cuisine revolution.
Well, it's been a fun-sized tour of the Manila food scene, and I got down to the nitty-gritty. I didn't have to tell the locals why their food was unpopular. They told me. Lack of presentation, easy fix, fear factor kind of foods that dominate public opinion with their notoriety, and lack of consensus. The best ideas are scattered throughout the country. The winners haven't risen to the top. My plan for the next week in the Philippines is to find them. And although I don't know it yet, this trip will dip into the coffee trade, get to the bottom of fighting cock diets, and uncover the world's other leaning tower. I will get intimately familiar with the source of food, caveman rudimentary in its preparation and avid in its consumption. And I'll see a lot, perhaps more than I should. The road leading up from Manila gets hairy as it coils up along the forested mountains. Although the views are magnificent, steep drop-offs, falling rocks, and other hazards abide.
It's coming into the town center of Banaue right now. Driving slow because there's a lot of tricycles. They're typically out here. Seems quiet right now, but in traffic. Whoa! Oh shit! I almost ran over a chicken. It seems crazy, but running over somebody's chicken is a big deal here. I mean, you can buy a high quality chicken in the market, highest quality, for under 10 bucks. But if you run over a guy's chicken, you might have to pay out up to $400.
With 0 chicken kills, I make it to the town proper. I'm now in a completely different region of the country, which should have a completely unique set of local dishes. Is there a winner among them? Starting from scratch, I begin with a walk around the markets.
It's interesting, inside this general store full of grain, rice, and chicken feed, there's a whole wall dedicated to fighting cock nutrition. From 1 day old to 6 months, beyond 6 months.
You got the Thunderbird Premium with creatine and antioxidants, and ready to fight mix.
I load up on some supplies and leave the new town behind. The old awaits. It's a lifestyle which is not only different from mine, but also the rest of the Philippines. The unique customs, the mysticism, and the lifestyle which revolves almost entirely over the production of rice. Surely a land so diverse, distinctive, and unconventional would have a unique take on food. But the big question, in a region with mummies in the attic and skulls on the wall, how palatable will that food be?
Yeah, something I was hoping to see and not hoping to see. This is the specialty of Banaue. It's called pinik pican. I heard that bap, 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 and I had a feeling. They literally batter the chicken slowly to death, the process tenderizing the meat, bringing the blood to the surface. It will succumb to this beating eventually within about 30 minutes, and then the food is prepared. I guess this is about as primitive a preparation as you can imagine, but in that sense, it's almost like you're looking into the past. I imagine this is the way they prepared chicken here for centuries.
The chicken, having finally kicked the bucket, is now burned and the feathers slowly plucked. Looking to put my attention elsewhere, I discover something else is brewing in the shade of the small hut. Quite literally.
The beginning, middle, and end of harvest season, rice wine is made. Now there's a reason why intoxicants are called spirits, because throughout history they've always been associated with spiritual practices. So there is a shaman around here who is going to come in for part of the process.
The roasted rice is then boiled and set out to dry. And right on cue, the pinik pican chicken is ready to go. Yeah, it looks tantalizing. Cultural experience. Cultural experience.
And this is it, finished product, pinik pican. You get the broth, which is basically the water the chicken was boiled in with a little salt added, the chicken itself, the innards, and a little salt on the side. Yeah, this is apparently how you do it. Take a piece of the chicken, dip it in salt, couple it with some of this great rice, their specialty. Throw it down the guzzle and chase it with some of the broth. Now I get it. It's like a hearty chicken stew, minus the potatoes and vegetables and all that. Just straight rice, chicken, broth. But I imagine for a long, hard day in the field, it does the trick.
But let's be honest here. I'm having a cultural experience, but not finding the next great international dish. Battered chicken is hard for me to accept on an expedition to the village. It won't fly in New York City or Paris. Not a chance. The final rice wine steps give me a chance to put the beaten chicken behind me. Maybe she would have been better off if I smoked her on the road. Back on wine duty, yeast is added to the mix and the contents are wrapped up in banana leaf, where the magic will happen.
After 3 days, the banana leaves are opened up and you have this repog, and the shaman puts it in the pot, which will then be sealed. You know how a lot of products have a special ingredient or a special process they don't want to tell the public about? That's what makes their product so good. This is that moment right here, because as the shaman's putting it in the pot, he's saying incantations. And depending on his mood, they say the whole taste of the wine can be affected. If he's distracted by work and problems with his marriage, then when people drink the wine, it'll be bitter. But if he's positive, if he's thinking about the people, if he's full of benevolence, then when you drink the wine, you'll have a nice, happy drunk. After about a week, they pop off the top of the jar and jam in these rice stalks for natural filtration, pour it out. They say the first bit is the sweetest. As you get to the bottom, it's kind of like the bottom of a Turkish coffee cup, all sludgy and slimy. All that work, it all comes down to this, not just a labor of love, but a labor of blood and sweat, exhaustion. And in the end, you don't get something clear like a Japanese sake, you get something with little pieces floating in it, dark. And it tastes exactly as you would expect it to, like the soul of the rice field. Strong, full of character, of the earth.
With my drink sufficiently on, it's time to leave Banaue. I saw some stunning sights and some questionable practices. I labored with the people and consumed the fruits of their ancient line of work. I came to know a community much different than mine, and I will leave with those memories. But what I did not find was any cuisine that would realistically represent the Philippines on the international market. But my trip has just begun, and there are some intriguing stops ahead. Including this quiet one, just outside Banaue. You wouldn't guess it, but a significant conclusion to World War II conflict and a beginning to World War II mystery starts right here.
Here's an interesting little memorial in the town of Kiangan. On September 2nd, 1945, Japan's highest-ranking military officer, General Yamashita, surrendered to the U.S. Army. He gave up his tattered troops, he laid down in his arms, but one thing he did not surrender was the loot that he'd taken throughout his campaign in Southeast Asia. That was never found, inspiring a generation of treasure hunters to look for it.
My loot lays ahead on the culinary trail, but a chance stop in the town of Sagada throws a detour in my path. Sagada is known for their unique burial rites. Coffins often clinging to jagged cliffs or found tucked in the dark mouths of deep caves.
Wow. Other than the coffee and the smoked meat, this is what Sagada is famous for. Open-air coffins, oftentimes clinging to a cliff or a cave wall. Now that Christianity's moved into the region, a lot of people are getting buried 6 feet under. But the older generation, still clinging to the pagan roots, doesn't like this idea. Under all that dirt, their spirit will be trapped. But here, it's free to roam around.
Aside from the free spirit deceased, Sagada is also a spot where you can sample the country's best coffee, globally prized Arabica beans, and the lesser known, but more consumed, Robusta. I'm told that not far off, I can hike up to a village where I can find these beans grown and harvested old school style. And not just any village, one that would have struck fear in my grandfather's heart.
The mostly autonomous region of Kalinga here in the mountains of northern Luzon. I mean, I guess technically the feds could come in, but they wouldn't. These tribes have a history of being great warriors. They were the original headhunters, and they're heavily armed. But I'm not here to start any trouble. There's a couple of unique kinds of coffee I hope to find up in these hills. No trouble, no fighting.
The hike up is grade A sketchy. Lose your footing in spots and it is good night Irene. But in other spots, the sublime hand of nature opens up. Up top, I finally mosey into the village. Despite the ferocious reputation, I'm received with warmth and passivity. And just at the edge of town, I find my coffee trees.
Haha. So that's what Robusta looks like. They say it has a sort of a nutty smell as opposed to the more fruity smell of Arabica. Grows at a lower altitude, it's hardier, it's more resistant to pests because it has a higher concentration of caffeine. And that, by the way, is why coffee beans produce caffeine. It's an insecticide. Keep the bugs off of it. It also happens to have the inadvertent effect of a stimulant, which is why we like it.
The beans picked here are both sold commercially and roasted in-house for personal consumption. The village makes a mean brew, but coffee is not the only thing brewing in this town. Free to wander, I trudge out to their rice fields for a sunset perspective of the lush green environment. It's a rather carefree stroll. Until I walk just a little too far.
I'm not sure I'm supposed to see this. I guess it's all right. Well, let's talk about this. We've covered some of the world's most popular drugs: alcohol, coffee, caffeine. They love sugar in the Philippines. The whole world loves sugar. And now we got marijuana. 4 of the top ones, all in moderation, not that bad for you. In excess, maybe not that great for you. But only one could get you ripped away from your family, sent to prison, in some countries executed. Now just imagine if somehow a different one arbitrarily was selected, if some congressman somewhere said there's a scourge of obesity sweeping over the land, we must wage a war on sugar. How would that change the landscape? How would that change our opinion about everything? I didn't see anything. Marijuana field? What marijuana field? I just saw rice.
Not seeing anything but rice, I come back to town where a feast is being prepared in my honor. Not a meal prepared by the manicured hands of big city chefs, but by the calloused paws of mountain warriors. In other words, brace yourself.
Go for it. Wow. Kind of reminded me of a bullfight I saw in Venezuela. But to be honest, I mean, we buy the beef and the chicken in the supermarket with the plastic wrap over it. We're distanced from the reality of what's happening. And who knows what reality that is, the whole farm factory business. But here you've got free-range pigs just pretty much living out their lives as they please, and then, yeah, one bad moment. But it's as humane, I suppose, as you could do it. Could be a little faster, the whole last part. Other than that.
After its slaughter, the pig's hair is meticulously singed off. Then it's gutted and quartered. All parts are thoroughly washed. You can never be too careful with pork. The organs are cooked up over a fire while the rest is boiled in a household. As the food is completed, it's brought out to the social hub of the village. There are no individual plates. As a community, the food is shared and enjoyed wave after wave. In the dim lighting, I have scant idea what I'm eating. A crusher is brought out, full of spice to accompany the meat. Whatever it is, it's a winner. I've committed myself to eating everything offered, a resolution which holds fast when this dish is brought out. Dinuguan, made of blood, lung, and intestines.
Wow, it was really good. Your mind starts to go to like, but isn't that? And you say, nope, just tastes good. Don't think about it, just enjoy it.
All in all, a dining experience which was unusual, occasionally uncomfortable, but positively communal. It seemed like a necessary experience to connect to the entire process.
Look at that view. Nice road. Been a great trip so far. A lot of cultural experiences. I got really up close and personal with my food, which I guess everybody should do at least once in their life. But let's be honest, even though I ate some tasty grub, it's nothing that's gonna market well. It will not capture the imagination of an international republic. However, I'm headed now to the coastal town of Vigan that has their own unique specialty, and people say it'll knock your socks off. Let's see what they got to say for themselves.
Arriving in the picturesque town of Vigan, I might have stumbled upon a major clue as to why the national cuisine straggles behind. The history of Filipino civilization consists of small, community-based barangays that never consolidated into a Greek republic or a Chinese dynasty. Before they could, they got the Spanish Empire. Therefore, here in the Philippines, there's no Machu Picchu, there's no Angkor Wat. What you have are these colonial relics where the locals played a second banana role. Now here's the question. Without a great king and his fickle taste to please, without a Cleopatra commissioning great feasts for the arrival of Mark Antony, will great cuisine ever rise to the top? Will a cook ever be inspired to create something fantastic? Contrast this with neighbors who hold popular cuisine. Japan, powerful island nation never colonized. Thailand, which was never conquered or occupied. And scrappy Vietnam, which successfully evicted China, France, and America. In the embrace of colonial ghosts, I continue my search to Vigan's main plaza, where preparations are being made for a lunch rush on their trademark dish. Empanadas. I stroll up to one of many mom and pop booths and get an invitation to join.
So you roll out the rice flour, just rice flour. Okay. You put on the cabbage, which is soaked now in egg white, and then some longanisa. Pour the white into the cabbage patch, and then the yolk. Wow. And right into the oil. 2 minutes. That's it.
The empanada comes out of the oil like a sizzling pocket of goodness.
Oh my God. At first blush, it looks like something that would be too heavy, too greasy, but it's actually just fits the bill for a perfect breakfast kind of food. Got a little bit of that egg taste, got some crunch in your mouth from the cabbage, and a rich flavor from that longanisa.
Wow, this really is a fantastic, easy to make and portable breakfast food. I could see it being a big hit. There's only one problem. Latin America already sort of owns claim to the empanada. Wrestling that identity away and bringing it here to the Philippines, tough sell. Nevertheless, the taste of that empanada is something to write home about. Made especially yummy by the inclusion of the region's famous spiced longanisa. That included longanisa, by the way, is also a region specialty, and Homegirl tells me exactly where she got it. I am on the case. On the outskirts of town, I finally found it. Here it is, the sausage factory. With a little cajoling and pleading, I work my way into the mix.
And this is intestine here.
Yeah, the intestine will be inserted here.
That's how you fill it up.
But I don't exactly know what I'm doing here.
Keep going, keep going, keep going. A little zip tie. Every place in the Philippines does their longanisa a different style. Here in Vigan, they're known to have a lot of garlic in the mix. That's their specialty, that's their trademark. Never thought I'd be doing this one day.
Oh, you follow that, you follow that.
Uh-huh.
Now that I've handled them, I must consume. I find a nearby restaurant that cooks up vegan special longanisa, and I sit down to dine.
Here's that thing that I stuffed. Now that's good. I'm a real fan of garlic. So the vegan style with a lot of garlic and the sausage really makes it pop. And the fish sauce, seems a little odd to put fish sauce on a sausage, but the combo works. It may not look like much, but this little nugget packs some garlicky, meaty goodness. And here we have another vegan specialty, bagnette, double fried pork. A long time ago, when they didn't have refrigeration, they would fry the pork that they weren't consuming to preserve it. It would last up to 10 days. When they were ready to eat it, they'd fry it again. Then they got used to that crispy taste. I'm back. It's definitely double fried.
It's my final meal in vegan. And the assessment?
The worse something is for you, the better it should taste, which is why this bagnette's not gonna cut it for me. It may taste all right, but double fried, it's gotta taste fantastic if I'm gonna pay that price down the road. The longanisa, however, with the garlic twist, awesome. The problem here, when you think sausage, you think Germany, Poland. You don't really think the Philippines. Again, to overturn that opinion is gonna be a tough sell.
Maybe searching for something uniquely Filipino in a colonial town was a little bit misguided. But down the road, I am sure to find something the country calls its very own, right inside the skeleton of American military might. On the way down, I can't resist a pit stop at two towers famous in local lore. Legend has it that right here, anyone who stands underneath these bells will get married in a year. Yeah, we'll see about that. And just down the road, Pisa has the tourists, but this leaning tower is pure road less traveled.
I was told that here by the coast I could find the road less traveled leaning tower. Doesn't quite have the je ne sais quoi of the one in Italy, but it's got something. These are the remains of the last great power to occupy the Philippines. And like the empires that came before him, Uncle Sam also heavily influenced the country's cuisine.
A short hop from the old base is the original Aling Lusing restaurant, famous for just one dish, sisig.
Oh yeah. Woo, hot diggity dog. There's nothing that excites me like a plate of sizzling food coming my way. And I love the story of sisig because it fits into that theme of the Filipinos making do with the cuts of meat, bits of food that their occupying powers didn't want. The Americans at Clark Air Force Base would throw out parts of the pig they didn't use in their own cooking. It was unpalatable to the service members there, including the pig's head. And one enterprising local woman, Aling Lusing, would pull the pig heads out of the trash, cut off their cheeks and their ears, and created this special dish, sisig. It became such a hit, it swept over the entire Philippines. And I'm gonna sweep it into my mouth because I love me some sisig. Holy cannoli, that's good. Now you'll find some sisig that has a fried egg on top. Personally, I like that. That's a recent modification. But it kind of captures that sizzling skillet flavor that you could get at an American diner with a slight Filipino twist. Super fresh, super hot. The calamansi gives it a little bit of a zing. The onions give a little crunch. And the meat is just succulent.
Sisig, incidentally, has become the staple food of karaoke bars throughout the country.
Those American servicemen don't know what they were missing. In fact, they may have been throwing away the best cut of meat. But it provides an interesting variety of texture. At times buttery, soft, and at times chewy and meaty. All of it, ang sarap.
Could sisig be the big winner? Well, maybe. But if American servicemen and women didn't bring this food sensation back with them, then it may have missed its best shot at international fame. Perhaps the culinary ladder is a little like Hollywood. You need a big serving of luck to go along with your talent. For some, the big break never comes. And for others, well, they are so far out of the spotlight, you need to be some kind of Rambo guy to even find them. Nearby, in the area of Subic, there's a large, dense jungle. Flowers are in bloom, and the sea invites beyond. Hidden in the vegetation, secretive, abandoned American bunkers and military housing, quickly being reclaimed by the forest.
Last stop after a long road trip. Seen a lot of cool things, but I'm not sure I've gotten quite that iconic, super marketable food. But perhaps here at the edge of the jungle, I can find that romancing the stone jewel in the rainforest.
I'm here as a guest of JEST, or Jungle Environment Survival Training. The Aita guides can teach you how to find water, soap, and food, all sourced from the jungle.
So this is it. To my city slicker eyes, this looks like something that just fell off a tree and landed here.
Yeah.
You can prepare everything right here.
Yeah.
And this bamboo?
Oh, that is for fire making.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, the dry one.
You can start a fire in the middle of the jungle.
Yeah.
No matches?
No, no, sir.
Really?
Only the dry bamboo.
The rice is poured into the bamboo.
Okay. Oh,
And with the aid of a serious knife, we begin.
like this, huh?
Yeah, that looks like perfect kindling.
Yeah. Make it.
It's an arduous process, but not as difficult as I imagine.
Come on, fire. More. Then stop it. Yeah, sir.
I feel more manly than Bear Grylls. This is serious caveman
Yeah,
stuff.
yes, sir. Yeah.
Yeah! Woo! With our precious little fire all grown up, we begin to get down to the cooking.
Are you kidding? We can straight cook like that?
Yeah, yes, sir.
That bamboo thing's not gonna burn up?
No, sir.
No.
No. Because this is green and we have water inside.
Oh.
That's why. No.
What an amazing environment. These huge, lush trees, the bush, the birds chirping, the history with the Vietnam War preparation, survival training. We're right in the thick of it. Cooking something up using all natural ingredients and an all natural process.
It's a simple soup recipe called sinigang.
Here we have wild chicken caught in a trap, but you can also use freshwater shrimp from the streams in the jungle.
Okra, beans, tomatoes, red onions, and bamboo shoots, and is topped up with some water.
You're Aita.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Aita people?
Hunters.
Hunters.
Yeah.
So your ancestors for hundreds, maybe thousands of years hunted in these jungles.
Yeah, yes, sir.
So the bawoko, we're putting it in the mix.
Yeah, yes, sir.
What does this add to the soup?
Sour.
Sour.
Yeah.
Gives it a little tang.
Mm.
And in a jiffy, our concoction seems done.
Hey.
Hot.
Did you lose your eyebrows? So I have my organic pot, plate, cup, spoon, and fork. And my stew is beginning to boil. How nifty is that?
It's hot.
That smells fantastic.
Yeah, yeah.
Whoa. Look at that.
But the proof is in the pudding.
This looks unbelievably good and healthy.
Yeah.
Rice.
Yeah. No? Yeah.
Vegetables. Oh, wow. Piping hot and fresh. The sour leaves are mushy like cooked spinach. The other stuff is crunchy. The rice is perfectly cooked.
I think we have our winner. Certainly somewhere else in the world somebody must cook or eat out of bamboo, but nobody's really known for it. This could be the iconic Filipino food. Why not eat out of bamboo? Paper plate, you cut down the tree, that tree's never growing back. The bamboo is going to be encouraged to grow more. You're doing a good thing. You're eating healthy. If you can get the Whole Foods market, the Trader Joe's market, you've got the spearhead and it could spread everywhere. I think that crowd would jump up and down for this. Got my cup, fork, plate, and special ingredient, baukok, all natural. Works great in the jungle, but the rub is, will it work in an urban environment? I'm gonna take this to one of Manila's top chefs and we'll find out. This is the Discovery Primea, Manila's newest and arguably tallest 5-star hotel. The rooms are tippity top-notch, the ambiance luxurious, and the views spectacular. But I'm not here just to relax. I'm here to meet their renowned chef and get his professional opinion of my jungle delicacy. Chef Luis?
Hi.
Hey, I'm Jonathan. I called ahead.
Hey, nice to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you. So, as you probably know, I did this tour of Luzon.
Yeah.
I found some of the best ingredients, stuff I thought might be a hit internationally.
Okay.
And I'd like to make a chicken soup kind of thing using them.
Yeah.
Hey, here's what I got. I got labuyo that I found in Kalinga.
Really nice. Really
Oh, you know
nice
that?
chilies.
You like
yeah.
it?
I love working with this.
Right on. I got this balut from Subic.
Oh, yeah, the sleeves. It gives you a little bit of tangy taste when you use it. A little bit of sourness in the dish.
Exactamente.
Yeah.
And here's the kicker.
Okay.
I need to make it all and serve it all in the bamboo.
Ooh.
Is that a problem?
I've seen people use this. Honestly, I've never done this before. Well, let's see what we can do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Feeling good about it?
Yeah, let me think about it.
I hope this works. To be honest, I don't have a backup.
I hope it works too.
Did you see that chef's face when I dropped the bamboo on the counter? It was like I threw a real curveball at him. And if he can't hit it, I might be a little foobarred here because I'm leaving Manila tomorrow and I really didn't get a backup dish. I just thought, this guy's the winner, I'm gonna run with this. Figured everybody in the world would be as enthused as I was. But he's a top gun here. He's known as one of the best young chefs in Manila, so he's gotta come through. While I wait in the room, Chef Luis puts it all together. He follows the same recipe that I learned in the jungle, but embellishes it with the labuyo peppers, some fish sauce, and cooks the whole thing in a classic handmade pizza oven. This is it, the big moment of truth. Safe to say I'm nervous. I went all this way around the Philippines to find a dish that could make it on the international level. And it all comes down to the next 5 minutes. Yes or no?
Hey, Jonathan. This is the dish I prepared. Basically, we cooked the tinola in the bamboo that you requested. It has chicken, a nice broth, the chilies, the leaves that you sent over,
right,
and the coriander and artisanal fish sauce.
Artisanal fish sauce.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it?
I feel pretty good about it. The question is, how would you feel about it?
It looks good. Let's see.
Yeah, go ahead, taste.
All right, I'm gonna dig in.
With eager anticipation, I dig into Chef Luis's urban spin on the forest food.
So, yeah?
Yeah!
All right.
Tastes great, it looks great, and it's bringing organic dining to the next level. Yeah, man!
All right.
You think this has got legs internationally? You think this could be a big hit?
Definitely, definitely.
I think so too.
Yeah.
And you feel good about yourself for eating it.
Exactly. My thoughts exactly.
If you don't mind, I'm gonna sit down right now and eat this whole thing.
Please do. I'd be happy if you do.
Hot diggity dog, you made my trip.
Glad I did. Enjoy.
It's been a picturesque journey of stunning sights, historic reminders, and a whole heap of grub. The Philippines certainly is a vacationer's paradise. But how about the food? I mean, really? Well, it may have been held down by centuries of empire rule. It may have evolved with unconventional cuts of meat, and the presentation could be a little rough around the edges. But my friend, the times they are a-changing.
I can see how a traveler could come away with a negative impression of Filipino cuisine. The mediocre stuff is ubiquitous. Yet, the country has some fantastic dishes, fresh ingredients, and one-of-a-kind cooking methods. The challenge for a new generation of Filipino chefs is to consolidate the best ideas, adjust them to global tastes, and market aggressively. Now, it'll be a minute before they rival their Thai, Japanese, and Chinese counterparts, but they seem poised to finally close that gap.